All right. Can you see me now, guys? Can you see me now? What about now? I'm trying to make sure everybody can see me. I'm using a different software again. All right, everybody, what's going on? So right now, I'm in the process of sending Coach Asgar a link. I need to know. Let me know, guys, if you can see me. Let me know if you can see me, guys. All right, good. Halim Boston, what's going on, brother? New Money DMG, what's going on, fam? Okay, good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Mr. Angus, what's going on, brother? I just want to know, can you hear me? In Bloom, what's up, bro? All right, hold on. I'm trying to send Coach. All right, good. I'm trying to send Coach Asgar a link right now so we can join. Let's see. Okay. Because I know he gets a million emails all the time, so you guys know how that is. What was the email I sent him before? Coach Asgar, what was it? Hold on, let me see. Bear with me, guys. He told me to send him the link again, so I just want to make sure that. All right, there we go. Paste. Here is the show link. Coach. And let's see. We're going to discuss Tyson Fury, AJ, Canelo, and Billy Joe Saunders. All right. I just sent them another link, guys. Sorry about that. So I just sent them another link. So what's going on, everybody? Rocky Valley, what's going on, brother? D-Town Blasters, shout out for the super chat, brother. Josh Taylor. Oh yeah, listen. Hey, Halim, I'm not sure, but I think Coach Asgar works with Josh Taylor, so we're going to talk about him as well. New Money DMG, what's going on, fam? Halim, what's going on? In Bloom, what's going on? I'm waiting on Coach to come in right now. We're going to listen. Whatever questions you guys have, we're going to ask. I have a list of, I'm going to tell you right now. Me personally, I have 14 questions. Some of these questions are probably, you know, some of the questions that are probably something that you want to ask anyways. But if they're not, then don't worry about it. But I promise you, I'm going to address everybody's questions. Michael Buffer, what's going on, brother? Michael Buffer, what's going on? Abdul Jallo, what's going on, brother? What's up, fam? So listen, I have my pad right here, so I have a list of questions. Oh, okay, Coach Asgar, there he goes.
Hey, how are you?
Coach, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Coach. Mike Williams, the man. I've seen your pictures, looking fucking great shape.
Hey, yeah, man. I'm old, man. I'm 47, man. I lift a lot of weight, so.
Wow, you look great, man. Make me look old.
Hey, yes, sir, Coach. So listen, man. I'm excited to have you. I know that you're very busy. Everybody, we do have Coach Asgar. Is that how to pronounce your name, sir?
Yep, Asgy.
Asgy. Okay, so we have Coach Asgy on right now. You know, this is an honor to have this man on here. This man has been in the game as a trainer for a long time. He was formerly with team Tyson Fury. He has a wealth of knowledge. What I love about having Coach Asgy on right now is because us as fans, you know, like me, I've been covering the sport of boxing for a long time. I used to box amateur coach for 5 years. Got my ass whooped real bad one time and didn't go back. I'm just being honest with you, but you know, but other than that, listen, you know, we have a lot of people in chat right now that's looking. So One of the questions I wanted to ask you, sir, was this. How long have you been a trainer? You know, just to give a little background on yourself.
You're talking about 25 years?
Wow, 25 years. That's a long time. So you have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to boxing, to be safe, you know.
I have always
You know,
loved boxing from the early 80s, from the time when you have your Marvin Hagler's, you know, your Chavez's, and I remember all the people, Gonzalez, the Fabulous Fours, you know, when you come into the Mike Tyson era. I've always loved boxing, and that got me to look into the history of boxing, right to the Sugar Ray Robinsons, right to the Jack Johnsons, to the Joey Lewis's, to the Rocky Marcianos, you name it, I've looked into it. I love boxing.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, my favorite fighter is Sugar Ray Robinson.
Without
I know a lot of people. What to say?
Without a doubt, the greatest ever.
You know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, but I think that was Muhammad Ali's favorite fighter at that time when he was coming up, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joey Lewis. And these are kind of his inspiration, because the way Sugar Ray Robinson was moving around, it's like he was waltzing, he was dancing, he was floating. And this is where the inspiration will come. And the whole concept of hit and not get hit. That's the art of boxing. And Sugar Ray Robinson, you know, his incredible record, you know, things he achieved in that era, under that pressure, under that scrutiny, under that, you know, imagine being a black man in that era. Imagine being a boxer who had nothing. And the only things he had to survive were these.
Right.
And believe me, he was fighting for his life, literally, and for what he achieved, phenomenal.
Yes, sir, you're right about that. You're sure enough right about that. In that particular era in time, you know, things have changed a lot in the sport of boxing. One of the questions I wanted to ask you also was, as it relates to the business aspect of boxing, what is it, Coach, that, I don't want to say if things have changed, but what is it that you like and don't like? We're going to get into your background. We're going to get into some of the fighters that you're training, but these are just some of the questions I wanted to ask. What is it about the actual business of boxing that kind of like bothers you a little bit? You know, when like when you're trying to get these big fights that come together. Of course, we're going to talk about Billy Joe Saunders' upcoming fight, but what is it about the business of boxing that you particularly don't like, that you know, that kind of affect other boxers' careers and stuff like that?
Well, the best aren't really getting showcased. If you're not a numbers man, if you're not bringing in the numbers, no one's going to have any interest, because for these big businesses to invest in you, they want a return. So if you're a fantastic boxer, the best example is Terence Crawford. Phenomenal boxer. He's one of my favorite fighters right now. Absolutely. But because of the numbers, he's not generating the money, the revenue like these YouTubers are generating. And it's humiliating the game. Does that but I'm glad you mentioned that. And this is why I've got to point to MTK.
MTK, yeah.
See, MTK are making fights happen, great fights. You're talking possibly Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo. We having Josh Taylor versus Ramirez. This is all through MTK. So MTK are like how can you say, a fresh breath of air? No, a breath of fresh air. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense.
They're bringing these super fights. They're bringing these promoters together, and this is what boxing has been suffocated from. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We are getting these super fights, but your question is, it's all down to numbers. Boxing is a business. It's professional business. If people don't understand that, then they've got to understand, for them, people to invest in you, they want a return.
They want a return on their investment. Absolutely. And go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
No. I was just listening. That's what I have to say.
No, and so what I'm saying is, as related to Terence Crawford, I feel the exact same way about him. He's my favorite welterweight right now. But I want to get to the other questions. So, Coach, just from your experience, for the audience purpose, can you please just name some of the champions that you probably worked with in the past? Just some of the fighters who probably weren't champions, or but some of them that you may have worked with in the past has been on their team in whatever capacity that you have been a part of. Just to let the audience know.
Okay, Tyson Fury, the current WBC ring belt lineal champion. I've been
my favorite.
Billy Joe Saunders, the two-time world super middleweight and middleweight champion, undefeated. Yes, Josh Taylor, the WBA, the IBF, the ring belts, you name it. the man, the Muhammad Ali WBSS world champion Josh Taylor. I worked with him. I've worked side by side with Ricky Hatton doing the corner work, with Freddie Roach, with Eddie Chambers, an American, featherweight American, great
Right.
boxer. I've worked with so many. You know, I've been very, very blessed and very, very lucky. So
Eddie Chambers.
Eddie Chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with Eddie Chambers, a great man, super talent, denied. You know, I think he was mistreated in terms of his business side of things, where in America he wasn't getting the recognition. When he came over to England under Peter Fury, he was starting to understand how good he really was. But in America, it's all about business and it's all about revenue. And unfortunately, he wasn't having the right backing at that age, and it just didn't work for him.
You know, I used to love Nigel Bean. Nigel Bean?
Sorry, don't know why people are trying to call me.
What did it say?
I just
No, Nigel Bean. You remember Nigel Bean? I know you know.
Nigel.
Yes, sir, Nigel Bean.
Yeah, I've actually worked with his son. So one of his sons, I've worked with his sons, Harley Ben.
Right. I follow him on Twitter. I mean, on Instagram.
Which one, his son or is the father?
No, the son, the one that's boxing now.
There's two. There's Harley and there's Connor.
I follow Connor.
Yeah, Connor's a great man. He's really proven himself, especially in his last fight. A fantastic boxer. The fight that we all want to see is him versus the Albanian King Marku. So we're looking forward to that fight if it ever happens.
Yes, sir. Let me just run through my list of questions I have for you. Then we can just chat it up because I have a lot of people want to ask questions. So, Coach. So what I wanted to know was this here: when the Tyson Fury Wilder first fight, what was the mindset that your team, you know, like what? I always wanted to ask someone this question. What was the mindset like? Like, what was the atmosphere like that night when Tyson was getting ready to go in and fight Deontay Wilder? What was the atmosphere like? Was there any nervousness? Were you guys? Because I think you had Ricky Hatton in the corner.
Ricky Hatton, Freddie Roach, Ben Davison, head coach.
Yeah.
Ben Davison done a phenomenal job with Tyson Fury. He gave us a Tyson Fury that we have today. In the changing room before the fight, no nerves at all. Obviously, the family members had a bit of nerves because you're talking about Deontay Wilder, probably the hardest puncher ever, without a doubt.
Right.
And you know, we had seen Tyson build up. We'd seen what he was doing in training, so we knew what he was capable of. But we're coming from a guy who was absent from boxing for so many years, 2 easy fights, straight into the deep end with Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
Now, all it takes is that one shot of the heavyweight game. But Tyson switches on the tougher the occasion, the better he performs, as we know. So, you know, with Tyson, you can't teach him how to do what he's doing. It's just a God's gift. The way he moves for 6'9", for 19 stones is just incredible. But when I've seen him box in the preparation, you're thinking, wow. And we'd had guys that had sparred regularly with Deontay Wilder, and they were saying, look, Tyson's going to maul him. Tyson's going to outbox him. Tyson's going to be too good for him. They go, you hit hard as Deontay Wilder, because people underestimate Tyson Fury's power. Because he's never had to rely on the power, hence why he's always moving around. But we didn't have, you know, once we was ready for fight camp, once Ben Davison said we're ready, Tyson said we're ready, the team knew we was ready. We had 100% faith, confidence that Tyson was going to win. We didn't go in there just to take part. We came over to take the belt back.
Yes, sir, and I see that. Listen, everybody that's in the chat right now, we have quite a few people in the chat. I will address any of your questions. Just let me get through asking the questions with Coach Asgy, and then we're going to get right into it. Another question I wanted to ask you: explain to the audience, Coach, what it was like in the locker room when the hands was being wrapped. Now, of course, you had nothing to do with the second fight, right? I get that, but you know, I battle online every day with this. I don't know if you're familiar with these guys called the LDBC. They are this pro PBC fighters. So if you're not from the PBC, they disregard everyone. They're pro Wilder. I mean, I've never seen anybody.
What I don't understand about this is, why do they work on hearsay? Why don't they talk to someone like me who's been there, that knows exactly what went on? Now, they talk about all these allegations. Well, Look at the games that Deontay Wilder played. But push that to the side for a second. Let's talk about the hand wrap in the changing room.
Right.
Deontay Wilder sent in their head coach, Is it Jay Deas?
JD's, yeah, JD's, yeah.
JD, yeah? Right. His job was to inspect everything, which he did.
He did.
He's also watched by the fellow inspectors from the commission, which they did, which was also viewed. We had so many cameras around, which I had recorded, which the live TV was watching. So it's audience around the world. Now, if you've got a problem, you should ask your head coach that you selected to enter Tyson's room. So not only was it inspected by his head coach, the Nevada Commission, no, the LA Commission, plus the media, plus in front of everyone that was there, how can you complain then?
Oh my God. Coach, listen, I'm gonna send you a video I shot defending this whole thing, because me, I don't play. I'm very objective, right? I'm not on no one's side. I'm an actual journalist. I'm gonna show you my press badge. I have it right there. I'm gonna get up. But when you're a journalist, you're supposed to be objective as possible. You're not supposed to be biased, and you have to be fair. I'm not supposed to take away from Tyson Fury for the benefit of Wilder, and I shouldn't have to take away from Wilder for the benefit of Fury. I need to be honest. Don't make up lies, show integrity and stuff like that. If this is your guy and he loses, in my opinion, he lost the first fight. You know what I mean? Wilder won 2 rounds. He won the 2 rounds he knocked Tyson Fury down in. But he lost 10 rounds. I don't care what nobody says. The man lost 10 rounds. Over here in America, a lot of people was cheering for Wilder, but then when the fight was over with, they started cheering for Tyson Fury. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what happens. I don't mean to get excited about it.
That's the beauty of America. They doubt you to begin with, but once you prove yourself, they salute you and support you. So now they're all right behind Tyson Fury, which is great. Now, everybody's talking about the hand preparation, whatever, yeah? Let's pause it there and let's just go back a couple of hours. When we entered the changing room that they selected for us,
yes, sir,
which was a complete mess, which had we gone in, had stunk of cannabis, had fumes, air through the air vents of cannabis, pumping into the room. So everyone in the room, whoever was out at the time, was inhaling this cannabis fume. Now, they don't want to talk about that, which is fine. They don't want to talk about the ring canvas, which the ring canvas was that thick, spongy, and we says, hold on, we need to change that. So we got them to change it to where it was how it should be. Other tactics to having security guards in the room to pretend the security guard, but there were people from their team to distract us. They kept sending people in and out, and we says, are you to go Showtime? Showtime says they're not with us. They played so many dirty tactics, but for us, that's the name of the game. As far as we were concerned, we wanted to get the fight on, because at the end of the day, both fighters are in the ring. Everything's checked by an independent, well-respected official, and also inspected by their man, inspected by our man. And at that time, our man was Freddie Bird, who inspected Deontay Wilder. So everything was done above board. The fight happened. You've seen how everything went around. The controversial fight where everyone says, oh, Tyson should have, the ref should have counted. No, he got up. The referee warned him. If you look at the dressing room where he says to him, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to ask you to come towards me, go to your left, go to your right, and I'll give you a chance, which in respect he did. Tyson Fury got back up, and Tyson went on to obviously not win the round, but obviously beat him up towards the end. Now, I understand that fight. People have their opinion. In the rematch, it was never left to the judges. Tyson Fury stopped him. Now, a lot of people complain the corner should never throw in the towel. Hold on a second. Oh, no. Hold on a second. Look at the fight. Look at the referee. Referee's facing Tyson and Deontay. Referee ain't looking at the corner, man. He ain't looking at behind him to say, oh, they threw in the towel. He had no clue. He was going to stop the fight anyway. But people don't want to. But people don't want to talk about that. Then let's go back to the first fight. Now, the first fight, as soon as the fight ended, look at the corner. Go back to the fight. Look at the corner and see how the corner team had stormed off into the changing room because they knew the fighter had lost. Even the promoter come over to us and says, your man won. Even Floyd Mayweather came up to me and says, your man won, your man won. Your man got robbed, man. And I was like, listen, it is what it is. And you've seen Tyson control the team, Doesn't matter. Stay calm, because that's the name of the game. It ain't going to change anything. But one thing that did happen was the public loved Tyson Fury. What a warrior! What a man! He came over from the brink of depression, from losing everything, to coming back to beating the heavyweight champion of the world. Whether he got the belt, but we all knew he'd beat Deontay Wilder.
Right, yeah, Coach, you hit the nail right on the head. I'm telling you, man. I made videos on this. Like, I know these guys think I'm team. I'm team truth. You see what I'm saying? I boxed before when I was younger. I know people who box, and I listened to the video that Bob Arum did. He said, listen, all of these lies. Bob Arum broke it down very well. He said when in the changing room. He said that Deas was there watching the hands get wrapped. If there was anything that he didn't like, so-called egg weights in the gloves or whatever, he would have saw that. He said the night before, or a couple of days before the fight, both fighters get to pick which gloves they're going to wear. He said then the commission takes those gloves. I think he said the commission, and they put them in the safe so no one can see the gloves. And then the night of the fight, they bring the gloves back to the guys. You see what I'm saying? Both fighters. He said that's what went on. He said, so now, I'm gonna show you how crazy this is, because I get heated about this, right? For this to happen, that the LDBC is saying, and I hate bringing these guys up because I don't like these guys, but I got to be as objective as possible. Everybody in the locker room would have had to conspire on Tyson Fury's behalf. He would have had to pay off the Nevada Commission. He would have had to pay off Marissimo that was in there. He would have to pay off all of these people that was in there. He would have to pay off the ref, the judge, just everybody. So you're trying to tell me a Brit, someone that's not from America, he's a traveling man. Tyson Fury's been all over the world fighting people. You see what I'm saying? And he come to America, and you're trying to tell me that all of this stuff went down, and everybody was in on it against an American heavyweight champion who at the time knocked out everybody. Cut it out. Just cut it out. Listen,
okay.
This has been over a year, and they still talking about this.
Also, the first excuse was the suit he wore, yeah?
Yeah, it was the suit. It was the costume.
Okay, so let's go back to when Deontay Wilder was wearing that fireman's outfit. Did you ever watch that?
Yes, I saw that. I had the video.
How heavy was that?
He said I'm preparing. It was 100. I think he said it was 100 pounds. No, he was dancing and moving around like this. Yeah, I have the video. I have it.
Okay. Great point. But let me also go right back to when Deontay Wilder fought Bermaine Steverne. What did Steverne say before the fight? I'm not feeling well. I'm feeling a bit whatever.
Right.
And then when he got beat, how did Deontay Wilder dismiss Steverne's allegations?
Right. Yeah, because Steverne did not look the same way the second fight he did the first fight.
But at the end of it, Steverne says, I got beat. Respect to the champion. Right. Now, Deontay Wilder could have still maintained that credibility. Right. At first, we thought, you know what? It's great what he's saying. It's just the mindset they need to do to convince himself to come back. Right. But he made every allegation possible. Now, we all know his cornerman saved his life.
Man, Mark Breland did an excellent job, Coach. Come on, man.
And I believe Mark Breland doesn't get the respect that he rightfully deserves. Now, what he's doing is what every coach should do. I understand that the boxer don't throw in the towel, but had he not thrown the towel, the fight was getting stopped anyway. Now, unfortunately, Deontay Wilder has made false allegations or speculation or slandered Tyson's achievement, which was one of the greatest performances for a heavyweight title fight for many years. One of the best I can ever remember. A fantastic performance that Tyson Fury should have been given much more credit for. And
yes, sir.
Wilder had the option of having a third fight, but he chose not to.
Right. And I addressed that in previous videos. I say, listen, if you listen to the interviews all last year, Tyson Fury kept saying one thing. Once I have this third match with Deontay Wilder, then we're going to see about the Anthony Joshua fight. He kept saying it. It was not one point in time, and trust me, I was looking for it. It was not one point in time where Tyson Fury said, I'm not ever going to fight Deontay Wilder. Once the contract had expired and then Deontay Wilder went to talking all this crazy stuff, that's when Fury said, you know what, I'm never going to fight him again. People, go ahead, sir.
Sorry, I'm saying, okay, let's just go on the other side. Let's just say what they say, that there was a problem with the glove, even though we know there wasn't. But let's just say there was. Who did you send in the changing room?
JD's. So JD's must have been in on it.
So there you go. So who are we going to start blaming? Why would you get rid of somebody that actually cares for you, like Mark Breland, and blame him when he actually stood up for you, and yet you keep JD? Come on.
Yeah, that's crazy. Fact of the matter is, Coach, the man lost. It's over with. So this is what I wanted to ask you, sir. Coach, someone sent me this question to ask you. What did you think after what Fury did the Wilder? And this is what I say. Before the first Wilder fight, you know, Deontay Wilder was saying he was going to destroy Fury, he was going to do this, that, yada, yada, yada. Then, when it didn't pan out that way, when he got boxed for 10 rounds, psychologically, it's like, wait a minute, I'm the baddest man on the planet, because he's been hyped. Because Shelly Finkel has done a real good job in matchmaking him very well. I have to give him credit for that. So I'm not going to take away from his accomplishments. He knocked out 39 people. Okay, whoop-de-doo. But my thing is, now, I'm trying to put myself in Wilder. He's believing all of this hype. You the best. Tyson Fury was 700 pounds. You know, just being famous. And then knock him out. Matter of fact, the fight was so controversial that everybody in the audience, most people thought that I lost the fight. Only 1 or 2 rounds, I knocked him down in. I scored, that's how I scored. So now, psychologically, I was messing with him. Now, going to the second fight, he started bringing up all this racial stuff, you know, talking about Tyson Fury's mental illness. I don't want to hear about that anymore. Yada, 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 yada. Fury says, I'm going to knock him out.
Okay. Let's go to what Deontay Wilder said, mental illness, yeah?
Yeah, I mean,
Deontay Wilder tried to get a fight with AJ, but it didn't materialize.
Right.
He needed a name, so he thought Tyson Fury's on his ass. Tyson Fury's a guy who can manipulate, convince him to fight, and beat him, and then say, I'm the man. I've come to York because I beat Tyson Fury. Thought he can manipulate a man that had suffered from mental health and probably still suffers. But Tyson beat him. And it takes a lot. The whole game plan had changed. It had turned upside down. So don't tell us about what he thought or to what Tyson's like or the racism, being a race, whatever. You got beat by the better man. But shame on you. But shame on you for not accepting that. You was given an opportunity to redeem yourself. You had a second chance. You got beat again. Third chance was presented to you. You didn't want it. Now you want to try and bring in the glove gate, the racism card, or the dodgy team. It's your team. You sort your team out. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's perfect. I just never seen it. Another fight to another guy, and he went to blaming everybody. He said it took him a long time to come to grips with he was the reason why he lost the fight. And that leads me to my next question. As a fighter, you know, you being a trainer and you work with some of the best other coaches and trainers in boxing, you know, like Ben Davison and stuff like that. You know, when a fighter loses, right, you know, you can only do so much. Prepare the fighter the best you can in order to get ready for his bout. It's a shame that when a fighter loses, you blame the coach or the trainer. Now, I'm not saying all fighters do this, but a lot of them, some of them do. You see what I'm saying? You got beat by the better guy. Maybe you didn't execute the game plan the way you should have, but you got beat by the better guy that night. It's not your trainer's fault. What I like about what Anthony Joshua did, to bring him up, because that leads me to my next question. When he lost to Andy Ruiz, I didn't see that coming. Everybody was saying he should have get rid of I forgot his trainer name.
McLaren. Rob McLaren.
Rob McLaren. Yeah, get rid of him. He said, no, we're going to run it back. I'm going to keep my team together, and we're going to come with a different strategy. He did that. That's what I was expecting Wilder to do. This guy has been with you your whole professional career. You know, Mark Breland. You had 40 victories, 39 knockouts. You lost one fight. You drew one and lost one. So you fought Tyson Fury twice and you couldn't beat him. So sometimes a guy just have your number. You see what I'm saying? So how does you feel as a coach and training yourself when a fighter? I'm not saying that you went through this yourself, but when a fighter blames the training or the coach for his lack of success in the ring when he gets beat by the better guy.
I in some way, what I understand it, because the boxers have to have that mindset. They have to have a reason to say, right, I lost because of this. But at the end of the day, you know yourself what the real reason is. See, for coaches like me and other coaches, people don't realize the sacrifices us coaches put into these fights.
Right.
And if somebody wants to leave you, so be it. We'll be in the game longer than the boxers will be, because at the end of the day, their career is very, very short, minimal, whereas we have box after box, the boxers. Now, right. I understand what Deontay Wilder did. Had he just gone with the team excuse, I'd accept that. But he just didn't give Tyson the credit. You see where I'm coming from? It was excuse after excuse, and everything he said was contradicting himself. So for me, it was just an embarrassment. But I do understand sometimes boxers lose, they want to change. Things don't work out for them, they want to change. You know, I look, and it is what it is.
Well, I understand that. I really do understand that. My problem is he didn't accept responsibility for his actions. So, but I'm gonna move on from him. And what I wanted to ask you about, we're gonna get into Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo. But before we get to that, I want to ask you about, what do you think about the potential fight, because we know it hasn't been announced officially yet, between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Now, these are two of my favorite heavyweights, right? I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards Tyson Fury, but I shot two videos making arguments for how AJ can beat Tyson Fury and how Tyson Fury can beat Anthony Joshua. But you know, it's the hungriest dog that's going to get the steak at the end of the day. So whoever wants it bad enough is going to win. What do you think about? You know, we got all of the belts in the UK, which is beautiful. I personally think that the fight should be in the UK, because you have two UK Titans, 169, 166. They're going into battle. They're finna go at each other. And what's going to be a better venue than the UK, Wembley Stadium or something like that. But because of COVID, I know things are kind of off. But I'm hoping like hell, Coach, that this fight can be over there, because I think the fans, you know, this fight is great for boxing. The Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo is great for boxing. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is great for boxing. You know, I just want to, you know, I hope that the UK can really get this fight. Everything lifts up with the COVID and all this crazy stuff that's going on, because to me, this is a 50-50 fight to me. What do you say?
I think, you know, listen, first things first, give Anthony Joshua all the credit possibly. Two-time world champion. He holds the majority of the belts, an Olympian gold medalist. Give this man his credit. He's a phenomenal athlete, a fantastic role model. And right now, he is the man that can possibly challenge Tyson Fury. However, I personally believe Anthony Joshua is tailor-made for Tyson Fury to look his career best. Because Tyson Fury has had so many that have come forward in the sparrings, in preparation to certain fights. And Tyson Fury has really schooled him and made him. People just don't realize just how good Tyson Fury is. And he needs someone, Anthony Joshua, to give him that fire, to give him that work, to give him that something to want. Now, I've got a lot of respect for Anthony Joshua. It's great for English boxing. Yes, it should be in England, but it's a business and it's about who gives the most money, who puts money on the table, which most likely probably be Saudi Arabia. And then it's all about numbers with pay-per-view, because you know it will smash all records. But I see this fight, I'm not being disrespectful to Anthony Joshua, I'd say 90% Tyson, 10% AJ. And I'm only being polite to give him that 10% to Anthony Joshua, because I can't see him in any way troubling Tyson Fury. We know Tyson Fury, you know, can get up from a punch. We know Tyson Fury is a phenomenal boxer, a fast boxer. We now know Tyson Fury can hurt people. You've seen what he did to Deontay Wilder. We know that Anthony Joshua is a bit suspect up above. We know his hands ain't really up there. He's very, very stiff. He won't be able to move around like Tyson Fury. You've seen what Tyson could do, and I think, and no disrespect, AJ is tailor-made for Tyson Fury. And I'm only being polite by giving him a 10% chance.
Okay, yes, sir.
I've got no game. I'm not in the corner. I'm not in the team, but I can only see there'll only be one winner there.
Right. I understand that. You just, you know, you're just giving your own personal analysis of how you see it panning out. So let me get to a couple of these questions. What did he say? Where you at, brother? One guy, I forgot. He said that he wanted to know, does Tyson Fury has a license in the UK? Because that's a rumor that he was suspended and he doesn't have a license to box in the UK, so he can't fight in the UK. Is that? Can you clear that up for me?
The last I knew of him, he did have a license. So, and he's also got a manager's license. So I don't know where that rumor's come from.
Okay, yeah. So I think they're talking about years ago when he was suspended. Well, when he didn't rematch Vladimir Klitschko, he was going through the mental health issues, and he kind of like retired from boxing, so to speak. I think that's what they're talking about. Okay, so let's get to Billy Joe Saunders. Now, Coach, you educate me on Billy Joe. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I have watched a ton of Billy Joe Saunders fights. I watched a few of his fights. He looks good. He has damn good footwork. Yeah, we see. Coach, he has damn good footwork. He has a high boxing IQ. He's a southpaw. And he's a southpaw. So, as it relates to Canelo, I have friends from the UK who I talk to. I share them with you. They're saying that they don't see Billy Joe Saunders has a chance against Canelo Alvarez.
Okay,
and I'm like,
can I stop you there? These are the same people that thought Lopez was going to lose to Lomachenko. They're the same people that thought Tyson was going to lose to Klitschko. Same people that thought Tyson was going to lose to Wilder.
Right.
I don't care what they think. All I'm saying to you is we have one boxer who's undefeated. We have one boxer that's been beaten. Now, we've all heard the hype. We all know what's what, but it's going to happen May the 8th. Now, these people that think that Billy Joe won't do it, bet against him. If you want to give your money, bet against him.
Right.
I'm telling you, on my experience, what I know, what I see, and I'm not just saying this, Billy Joe Saunders stopping Canelo. I see him being stopped.
You're the only person out here saying that he's going to stop.
I was the only person that was telling people Tyson Fury was going to beat Klitschko. I was the only person that was telling Tyson Fury would beat Wilder. I was the only person that was telling everybody that Lopez would beat Lomachenko. I was the only person that was telling people that Joe Joyce was going to beat Daniel Dubois. Hey, I must know something about boxing if I'm always getting it right.
Okay, so all right, so this is Coach. Can you see the question that's on screen?
AJ has a mid and inside game. Fury will hold a lot. Joshua is also stronger than Fury. I disagree with that. What makes you think that? What makes you just because he looks stronger? Well, let's look at Andy Ruiz, how he manhandled Anthony Joshua. Well, we're talking about a guy that manhandled Wilder. You're talking about a guy that will absolutely destroy Anthony Joshua, and I don't want to be disrespectful. He will destroy him.
Right. So Peter. So as you can see right here, Coach Peter Von Arx asked the question: how come it's taking so long for the date and venue to be announced with the Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fight?
Listen, boxing's all about timing. Boxing's all about announcing at the right time. Right now is not the right time. We've had some mega fights being announced. We've had Josh Taylor versus Ramirez for the undisputed titles. We've had Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo being announced for the unification titles. So, but it's all about timing. So I'm sure when the time's right, they will announce it. And you know it's going to be mega. It's going to be like a roller coaster, slowly up and boom, straight down.
Okay, so this one guy, Shelton Moore, he said that Fury is delusional. He doesn't. You saying that 90-10 Fury's way?
Shelton, you can say delusional, but he's the guy that is the man that beat the man, the lineal champion, the guy that everybody wrote off. Even when Derek Chisora was the British champion and he says Tyson Fury had no chance. Tyson Fury beat Derek Chisora. You see what I'm saying? When people wrote him off then, when he fought Christian Hammer, who was number 2 in the WBO, he beat him to come mandatory against Klitschko. People thought, what are you doing going to the Lion's Den? He went to the Lion's Den. He beat Klitschko. Then everyone thought he was crazy. He'll never come back. He came back. He went to LA. He beat Deontay Wilder. He got robbed of the win, but we all know he kicked his ass. Then he went back and beat him the second time. So don't tell me delusional. Delusional is those that doubt. And come when he beats AJ, what are you going to say then? He's beaten everyone. Who else is there for him?
Yes, sir, Coach. I want to ask you another question. This guy here, Sheldon Moore, again, he said that Billy Joe Saunders will never get a decision against Canelo, which I honestly believe that myself. Doesn't have enough power to stop Canelo.
Listen, he definitely does have enough power to dismantle him, to break him, apply enough pressure. he will make him quit. He'll be just too fast. And when you talk about decisions, I understand that completely. Look at the fight against Lara. You know Lara schooled him, but he got robbed. Now, I ask you this, Coach Malik, I ask you this question. Why do you think Canelo has a possible chance against Billy Joe Saunders?
I'm gonna tell you, to be honest
Just
with you.
give me one of them.
Canelo he has great defense. He has great head movement.
Okay, pause. You says defense. Let's go back to Amir Khan's fight. Or let's talk about Lara's fight. Or let's talk about Triple G, the first fight. Where was his defense there? Now, hold it there. Who has Canelo fought at peak? Please tell me somebody at, is it one, top three of any division that he's fought. Who has he beat at peak?
At peak. So who has he beat at someone in their prime? I can't think of anyone he's beat in their prime. Floyd Mayweather came out of retirement to fight him. If I'm not, I think he was 36 years old or something like that, 36, 37.
I came out of retirement and whooped his ass.
Let's see, but I'm gonna put Floyd aside. Triple G, Triple G won that first fight. I don't care what anyone says. Triple G won that first fight. Laura won the fight as well.
That's right. Okay.
Laura outboxed the hell out of him.
So Billy Joe Saunders understands that if he goes to the judges, he could get robbed. So hence what I know, but Billy Joe Saunders, providing he's on his A game, will absolutely dismantle and school Canelo. Take him to school.
Okay.
And he won't be making the mistakes as fellow other boxers have made, where they've stepped off the gas. If he takes his foot off the gas, he'll pay the price. No debate there. Because Canelo will execute you in the championship rounds should you make a mistake. So Billy Joe Saunders has got to be on his A game from round 1 to round 12. Job done. If the referees or the judges rob him, the public won't. And that's what it's all about. All Billy Joe, and remember this, it was Billy Joe Saunders that wanted Canelo, that wanted Triple G, that wanted the big fights. They all avoided Billy Joe Saunders because they felt high risk, low reward. What are we going to gain out of fighting someone from England? Well, now he's undefeated, 2 times world champion. He's the guy that's calling you out, and now it's happening. So maybe if there's no debate, it's happening. We'll see everything happen.
Yeah, because Canelo. I seen an interview with Billy Joe Saunders. He did say that he understands that once the fight starts.
Can I answer this Brandon's question? He says, reason number 1, Canelo is better. Better in which way? Don't just tell me he's better. Don't be a casual. Just give me a logical explanation why you think Canelo is better. Okay, let's talk about his last opponent. Let's talk about Billy Joe Saunders' last opponent. We all know, is it Yildirim that Canelo fought? This can of tomatoes from Turkey that he fought, that just stood still and took a payday. Don't know why he fell over or he tripped over or he realized that the check had cashed and he probably fainted. Look at Billy Joe Saunders against Martin Murray, a proven champion that should have been world champion, that was denied a title with corruption. Now, you can only judge a person on his last performance, okay? Now, I'm saying to him, they both was okay. They both did the business. So maybe, if there's no excuses. People can talk to me about who's Billy Joe Saunders for. I'm asking people the question, who's Canelo for at peak? Give me some names. Let's talk about Trout. The referees had Trout losing before the first round. It was all corruption.
Right.
So you understand how the... Yeah. So I'm just saying to people, just give me a logical explanation why you think Canelo will beat him. If you ain't got no logical explanation, just quiet. I don't like debating with people that will not accept logical answers. They'll one-track mind, no matter what you say, what you present to them, they'll stick to what they believe.
Because what it is bias, So and I understand that. So
this Moore's house. Okay, it was never going to court. It was it's why they was all supposed to sit down and work it out. There was never no court case with Wilder. They've agreed it. They've agreed to step away or agreed to let the fight happen or agreed to let the fight not happen. I don't know the ins and outs, but it was never going to court. This was something that was agreed beforehand, that should there be any discrepancies or disagreements, they'll all sit around the table and work it out, which obviously they have now.
Right, okay. All right, so this is another question I want to ask you, Coach. Now, as we already addressed that no one is giving Billy Joe Saunders a chance.
Good.
I'm going to be perfect.
No. Good. So when he does win, no excuses. I don't want anyone to say to me, oh, I don't want to say Canelo's crap, Canelo's this, Canelo's that. I'm saying, yes, I agree with you. Canelo's the man. Canelo's this, Canelo's that. So when Billy Joe Saunders whoops his ass, which he will, I don't hear no more excuses.
I'm gonna do this live because I haven't said this to anyone. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I just got through watching 3 of Billy Joe Saunders fights, and I studied his footwork, his hand movement, his quickness, his elusiveness. And me watching Canelo fights in the past, that those characteristics that Billy Joe Saunders has is his kryptonite. If you look at his last 3 fights, now I'm not trying to tear down Canelo or anything, but Kovalev was 75 years old. He didn't get a chance to recover from his last fight, which was prior, like a few months prior to that. Callum Smith? He just froze up like a statue. You see what I'm saying?
Well, look at Callum Smith's last performance against Ryder. He lost. He got beaten by the southpaw. Now, it's proven fact that Canelo struggles against southpaws. Who's the most destructive, the best southpaw out there? And that's Billy Joe Saunders. That's this man right here. Exactly. Yeah. Billy Joe Saunders, listen, the Billy Joe Saunders that I see, and I'm not just saying because he's a pal, he's a good guy. I genuinely believe Billy Joe Saunders beats Canelo. I genuinely believe, and I've got a strong feeling he stops him. Hold on. Billy is not dedicated in boxing more than Canelo. Says who, Dragon Leg? Says who? Are you going on the media? The media that tells you he's this, he's that, he's whatever. What the media don't tell you is the kind of stuff that Billy Joe Saunders does for the grassroots boxers, for the kids that are in hospital, for the poor, the needy, the homeless, for domestic violences. You don't see what Billy Joe Saunders is doing. If you go to any gym, I've got footages of Billy Joe Saunders helping everyone. He's the most dedicated athlete when it comes to training. You give him a set target, he's 100%, no question.
Right. So, and this is what on the Violent Prize fight says. He said Canelo is an aggressive counterpuncher, but Billy Joe Saunders' footwork could give Canelo a serious problem, and he's flat-footed. He's right about that. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm taking the underdog, and I'm not saying this because I'm on this interview with you. But I was talking last night to a friend of mine. I said, you know what, man? Something's just telling me, man, that everybody is screaming Canelo, but the reason why they call fights upsets because the person who you pick to win the fight doesn't win the fight. You see what I'm saying? Because no one saw that person getting beat. So I'm like, man, Canelo hasn't lost a fight in 6 years. But you have to take into equation, who has he been fighting? So I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I just gotta give it straight. In my opinion, lately, these past 3 fights, he's been fighting tomato cans. I'm just being honest with you. In my opinion. I want to see him fight somebody, Billy Joe Saunders. I want him to come in the ring, not be afraid, coach. Don't be scared. Don't look at it like, oh my God, this is Canelo. What am I going to do? Let me just ball up in a high guard and let him punch me. No, I don't want that. Listen, I want Billy Joe to come in there, do what needs to be done to get the job done. Don't be afraid. He's a man just like you are. And that's what I want to see. I don't want what I saw the last fight here in Miami where I live at the Hard Rock at the stadium, where this guy, this taxi cab driver who's been out of boxing for 2 years, Canelo's former sparring partner, just fold up and then after the 3rd round, he taps out.
You see what people don't understand? You see these traveler boys, since they were born, since they were babies, they were fighting with these bare knuckles, with no head guard, no gloves. They used to fight it. So you can imagine when these guys put these gloves on, they're laughing thinking, bloody hell, this is easy. Oh, you can hit me with some gloves on. People don't understand. These men are born fighters, born killers. But this is a killer. This is a traveling man that can box. That's the very best. His boxing IQ is phenomenal. He will. Right. Oh my God, he's one of the best British boxers that's ever been born. One of the greatest ever. Now, like I said, talk is talk, but May the 8th, you'll see the business.
Okay. So Shelton Moore did say Canelo's not a good boxer as Billy Joe Saunders. Canelo is a little slower, but he said Billy Joe doesn't have the power to stop Canelo.
Okay, stop right there. Right. What did they say when Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman?
Oh, when Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman, he was a 25-1 underdog. No one gave him a chance to beat Foreman, and he stopped him.
What did they say when Mike Tyson fought Buster Douglas?
Oh man, Buster Douglas was a 250-1 underdog, and Buster Douglas shook up the world. Yeah.
So when people talk about this power thing, please have a day off. Have a day off. The eyes, the hands can't hit what the eyes can't see, and that's what it is.
Right. This guy said, do you think Billy Joe Saunders' inactivity would be a factor in this fight?
Good question, but let me give you a simple answer. How about Tyson Fury's inactivity? Was that a factor?
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. Let me show you another one, Coach. Sanders' best win was against David Lemieux after David got ripped apart by Triple G. So that's what he's saying. He's saying that Sanders, I guess he's saying that Sanders haven't really fought anybody. So, you know.
No problem. That's what you genuinely believe. So again, it goes down to who was Canelo beat? Who was Canelo beat at peak? Just give me the answers. You can't give me no answers. And the only thing that you people like Kevin can say is like, oh, if Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather today, he'd beat him. Hold on. An old man came out of retirement and beat your ass. A peak Floyd Mayweather will whoop all your asses. So shut up, man. But listen, Kevin, I respect your decision. I respect it. But come on, answer my questions first.
Right. And no one is answering the question right now. In Bloom says, how was Billy's fitness? That would determine the result.
Listen, Billy Joe Saunders got a fantastic team. I'm sure Mark Tibbs will make sure that everything is spot on. And there's the one thing that knows the game is Mark Tibbs. He's got a great nutritionist, strength and conditioner. He's got Greg's, the M2K nutritionist. Greg will sort most of it out. So they will make sure he's in tip-top shape. And people don't understand. People like Ben Davison and Billy Joe Saunders are still friends. So a lot of input, everyone will be working together to make sure Billy Joe Saunders is 100%. You will see 100% of Billy Joe Saunders. There'll be none of this fitness issue, strength, or any excuse possible. May the 8th, all excuses out the window. It's on.
Okay, so this one guy on the Boxing Jedi said Canelo beat no one in their prime. You know what? I agree with that. I'm not gonna listen. Canelo's a great fighter, but he hasn't beaten anyone in their prime. That's facts.
Good. I'm glad we understand this. We're getting there. I like this.
Yeah. Okay, so Sheldon Moore asks. Oh, Sheldon got a lot of questions. Coach, who has BJS beat? Billy Joe Saunders beat? That's on Canelo's level.
Good question. Right. Chris Eubank Jr. Ryder, who beat Callum Smith. Now, Callum Smith fought Canelo. Billy Joe Saunders beat Ryder. Then we're talking about, these are people at world level. We're talking about, look at in Canada against Lemieux. Look at Martin Murray, a proven champion that should have been world champion, that had how many world title fights? It should have been world champion twice. So they can all make excuses who Billy Joe Saunders has fought. Now, let me get this clear to people's head. Billy Joe Saunders was the most avoided fight. He was going to the press conferences, calling out Triple G, calling out Canelo, calling out Andre, calling out whoever was out there. They didn't want to fight Billy Joe Saunders. They tried to sideline him. So Billy Joe Saunders could only fight whoever was presented in front of him. That's it. Of course he wanted to fight. Yeah, so you can't say to him who's he fought. The guys he wanted to fight didn't want to fight him. But he can't just sit on the sideline. He's had to keep himself active and had to fight whoever was best out there. So there you go.
Now, you know what, Coach, you're right about that because I have to be honest. Billy Joe was calling out Triple G. He was calling out a lot of those guys, but they wasn't interested in Billy Joe Saunders. So everybody that's watching the stream right now, I just want you guys to know, wait a minute, my computer's going dead. Don't need that to happen. I want you guys to know that, when these fighters, come on. You go dead on me. All right. Hold on, Coach.
So
I'm trying to make sure.
While you were watching, look, remember this man, Josh Taylor. This is the man.
Yeah, I'm going to get to you. I'm going to get to you right now with the Josh Taylor question because we have quite a few Josh Taylor fans. Josh Taylor, what is Josh Taylor? What has he been up to as it relates to training and stuff like that? Because
he's in full training camp with Ben Davison at the moment. The fight's been announced. He's ready. He's ready to roll. May 22nd is happening for the undisputed title. Wow! And in such a short career, how many fights? 19, 20 fights, and look what he's achieved. Unbelievable.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that like some of these fighters, like the Lomachenkos and Josh Taylors and stuff like that, these guys are having success at a younger age, earlier parts in their career. Do you think that the fighters now are, not all of them, of course, but some of them are maybe a little bit better than some of the older fighters of the past, or you think that it's just apples and oranges, you can't really compare?
I think it's to do with science. Science is much better now. And the new fighters that are coming through, they've got the better science, got the better, support, and that's why they do so much better. Now, when we talk about Josh Taylor, let me explain about Josh Taylor. There's two fighters in this world that I say, you know what, just leave these people alone.
Okay.
One is Josh Taylor. He's a monster. The other is Gervonte Davis, and the other is Gervonte Davis. Just leave him alone. He's a monster, a killer. Now, there's talks about Gervonte Davis fighting Prograis. Is it Prograis? Now, if that fight happens, and should Gervonte Davis beat Prograis, there's going to be a mega fight. Josh Taylor versus Gervonte Davis. Can you imagine that? After Josh Taylor becomes unified champion. What a fight. Two monsters. Now, this is somewhere, because of the height differences, I favor, obviously, Josh Taylor. Obviously. But two of the greatest monsters out there. What a fight that'll be. What a fight.
I think with that fight, of course, Tank Davis, he fights. I'm going to just be honest with you, man. I like him. He's a good fighter, but he's fighting a bunch of flat-footed Mexicans. He's fighting guys that have no footwork. They really, I'm just being honest with you. Like, they are really. Go ahead.
Josh Taylor, with his movements, with his taekwondo experience, how he can switch feet, switch stance. He hits so hard that it scares you. And he doesn't just hit you. He gives you flurries of killer punches and drowns you. And the beauty of Josh Taylor, he don't mind taking the shot because he loves to fight. Right. The Scottish have got some crazy power. This man is oh my God, he will be a pound. I see this man here, right here, Josh Taylor, as pound for pound, number one. He is the number one pound for pound. Trust me, this man.
Do they does Ring Magazine have him as I have Josh Taylor. Yep. I have Terence Crawford.
He's number one. No, Josh Taylor is ring belt number one. I don't know about pound for pound because I sometimes think that they're a bit biased to their own.
They are. Yeah. But I'm saying for me, Josh Taylor, Terence Crawford. I throw Canelo in there. There's some good fighters out there, man.
What's great is Shane McGuigan has done a fantastic job with Josh Taylor. Great job. But with Ben Davison, Ben's taking him a bit higher. He's giving him that extra, that filling in them mistakes. And when I was looking at Josh Taylor training, moving, listening, you can clearly see the improvement. And his punches are so pinpoint, so accurate, but with so much bad intentions. One second he's there, then he's there, then he's there, then he's there. And he's like, what do you do? This man's prepared to drown you. So, watch out for Josh Taylor, because when all the Scotsmen and women come to Vegas, they're going to make some noise. And believe me, they bring an army. Josh Taylor's going to bring an army.
Yeah, he is.
Listen, I definitely don't underestimate Ramirez. Believe me, I've got a lot of respect for the man. But I'm just saying, Josh Taylor is a monster, and you just want to leave that man alone. And again, I've got to say, again, these guys right here, MTK, made this super fight happen.
Man, you know what?
Look what MTK are doing. Tyson Fury, AJ, Josh Taylor, Ramirez, Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo, and how many other super fights are they going to develop? Maximum credit. We need people like MTK. We need more of it because they're giving the best for the fans, best for the boxers, best for the promoters, best for everybody. Everybody is eating.
I'm going to tell you something else that I noticed about Billy Joe Saunders, and I wrote this down myself. This is my question. I noticed that he has, and I told you before, he has excellent footwork, but it's something else I'm going to say. He has excellent hand-eye coordination. And what
Absolutely.
I mean, you know what I mean by that is he can actually see the punch before it's coming and get out of the way of it. You see what I'm saying?
So go back to the Martin Murray fight. You've got someone of that caliber that's a proven champion That's
Right.
that he didn't even step out of first or second gear and was able to maintain him. Whenever he was in danger, he knew straight away what was coming, and he put himself in a position where he was in a safe position. And again, people don't understand the eye coordination. His boxing intelligence with the eye coordination and the movement, what a package it brings.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly like what MTK Global is doing because they are making the big fights. There's a lot of politics in boxing, as you know, especially like with the Errol Spence and the Terence Crawford and stuff like that. Because I do have some questions on here. You have some people in the chat that's basically saying that Sean Porter's too strong for Terence Crawford, not trying to get off of Josh Taylor. He's too strong for Terence Crawford. Errol Spencer beat him, and I'm like, dude, you guys don't know. I'm just saying to me, with all due respect, and it's all subjective, of course, but I studied this sport, man, and the boy Terence Crawford is an animal, and he'll fight anybody at welterweight. It doesn't matter, like whether it's Errol Spence, Sean Porter. Personally, I think Sean Porter's style is tailor made for Terence Crawford because he comes in head first. In my opinion, I watch a lot of Terence. I watch a lot of Sean Porter's fights. He has more like a bulldog style.
Listen, we've shown Porter. Truth be told, it's just to keep Terence Crawford busy. Nobody wants to fight Crawford. Nobody wants to fight him. You've heard what they said about it. You've heard what Al Heyman said. You've heard what Bob Arum says. We all want the fight, but Errol Spence don't want the fight.
Right.
He's trying to price himself out, always making excuses. Listen, Errol Spence is a phenomenal fighter, proven champion, proven king. But you're talking about someone who's Crawford is arguably pound for pound up there with Josh Taylor for me. He's that good. And everybody fears him because he will break you up. He lives the lifestyle of boxing. He is what you call a true athlete, a great role model. And this is what people are scared of because he will break you down. He'll break you down mentally before you step into the ring, and he'll break you down physically.
So, Coach, let me ask you another question. In your opinion, why are some of these fighters, because we're going to finish talking about Josh Taylor, but why are some of these fighters afraid of Canelo? Not all of them. We do have fighters calling them out. Billy Joe Saunders called them out in the past. Jamal Charlo called them out. Andrade called them out. But it seems like fighters, these last few fighters that he's fought, when they get in the ring, they freeze up. Is it that Canelo is just that good or great of a fighter?
No.
These fighters don't have heart.
No, it's nothing to do with that. It all boils down. Let me tell you when Klitschko fought Tyson Fury in Dusseldorf, 2015. Every time there was a problem, the first thing Klitschko's would say was, well, we'll cancel the fight. Oh, you're scared to lose £1 million. You're scared to lose the money. You're here to fight for the money. And this was the carrot they was dangling in Germany. But we were so adamant to say, you know what? If we're not getting 100%, we're not getting treated fairly, we're prepared to walk off. You see, when I argued about the hand wraps, it was me that argued about the hand wraps. And I went to see Peter Fury and he says, right, the fight's off then. Done. We're walking up. We was ready to go. People are scared to walk away from fight, knowing that Canelo's got an advantage because they see money. They say, you know what, I need the money. Whereas Billy Joe Saunders don't need the money. He's got money. He wants to fight because he wants to beat up Canelo. And that's why a lot of fighters before, look at Callum Smith, for example. You've seen his tough fight with Ryder. He lost. Maybe he thought, you know what, I need an easy payday. My career's really coming to an end. I'm struggling to make super middleweight. I'll probably struggle at light heavyweight. So you know what? I'll go for the easy payday. And I would let him do whatever he wants. I'll let him make me drain myself. I'll let him whatever catch weight, whatever the rules are, I'll go by because I want this. I'm not saying it is the case, but I'm thinking it's the case because of our experience with the Klitschko's, where they'd always say, oh, the money, you're going to miss out, you're going to lose out. No. Right. Billy Joe Saunders won't be fazed by the occasion, whereas I think previously other boxers have. Look at Yildirim that fought Canelo recently, $2.5 million. Retired, how long did he fight before he got that much money? It's a lot of money for a man from Turkey. So he did what he needed to do, lie down in round 3, easy payday, safe to go home, fight for another day, easy payday. And Billy Joe he's a gypsy too, right? Listen, a proud man from the traveling community. And believe me, these men fight with heart. Everyone, not just the traveling community, not just the Pakistani community, not just the Scottish, the Irish, the Welsh. You're talking people from all over the world, Pakistan, India, and even in America. They love Billy Joe Saunders because those that appreciate boxing will say, "You see that big guy, Billy Joe Saunders? He's the man to watch." What did Broner say? Hey, you want to leave that boy Billy Joe Saunders alone?
Yeah, Adrian Broner did say that. Yeah.
You see what Floyd Mayweather said? Hey,
yeah.
Don't underestimate that Billy Joe Saunders.
Listen,
they all know.
Coach, there's a lot of fans in the States. They don't know a lot about Billy Joe Saunders. They know more about Canelo because Canelo fights here. So you hear a lot of them say, hey, Canelo is this and that. They don't know a lot about Billy Joe Saunders, and that's where that's coming from.
They didn't know a lot about Tyson Fury. But this is what I'm saying. Billy Joe Saunders is coming to the lion's den, and he will show the world, this is who I am. This is what I will do. You don't have to like, but you will respect. And once he beats him, what are you going to say then?
So you're right about that. So right now, the Violent Prize fighter, he says that Canelo appears to be more dedicated to the sport, which you heard that earlier. But he said in lifestyle than Saunders. But we will see. Saunders has the tools, but can he execute?
And that's the bottom line. Can he execute it to perfection? Is he going to maintain that game plan? Is he going to listen to what he's been told to do from round 1 to round 12? And that's what it all boils down to. You cannot afford to take your foot off the gas. And this is what I've got to refer to one of Billy Joe Saunders' closest friends, team manager, Tom Watts. Tom Watts will make sure everything around Billy Joe Saunders is 100%, not 99%, 100%, from the surroundings, from the food, for the preparation, for everything to do which leads to the fight has to be 100%. So I know there's going to be no excuses, no negativity in Billy Joe Saunders' mind. All he wants to do is be 100% so he can fight the very best that people are saying is Canelo. And you'll see May 8th, Billy Joe Saunders will show the world why I've been screaming is the king of that division.
Let me ask you a question, Coach. Has there been any, Canelo is known for giving like catch weights and stuff like that. Has there been anything that Billy Joe is required to do based on what Canelo wants him to do that's going to make this a difficult preparation for him to get ready for this fight that you know of?
I don't. I think Canelo plays a lot of mind games. Certain words where he'll say, if I do well against Yildirim, then I'll be fighting Billy Joe Saunders next. And then with Canelo, they'll use every dirty possible tactic possible. And this is what he's known to do. You look for every advantage. We all know about the Mexican beef. We all know about the allegations that have been made. But I'm trying to explain to people, you can eat what you want, take what you want. But the hands cannot hit what the eyes cannot see. Billy Joe Saunders just needs to move, box and move. Okay? And there was something that Ben Davison said in his recent interviews. People go by the Lemieux fight in Canada, which, if he's like that, he'll be the best. No. This is all about boxing intelligence. This is all about timing. People that don't know, you've got to watch that interview with Ben Davison. A very, very smart man. My brother, a guy I've got so much respect for. And it's just a shame that Billy Joe Saunders and Ben had to go different ways, with Ben working with Josh Taylor, and obviously Billy Joe Saunders needed 100%. And he's got a fantastic trainer, Mark Tibbs, a well-respected, a man that's on point. So I know once Billy Joe Saunders is on the game, he'll do very, very well.
So Shelton Moore was like, he's I'm not saying he's upset, but he's saying that.
Can I speak to Shelton? Shelton, you say I'm comparing Chris Eubank Jr. and David Lemieux and Martin Murray to Canelo. No, I'm saying at the time when Billy Joe was coming up, who was the people that was at number one? At that time, Ryder was up there. At that time, Chris Eubank was up there. At that time, it was Sullivan. It was the Andy Lee. There was the Martin Murray. Who else is going to want to fight Billy Joe? I'm just saying to you, Billy Joe Saunders has fought the best that's been possibly out there. Callum Smith didn't want to fight Billy Joe Saunders. He opted to go to Canelo. So what I'm saying is you can't fault Billy Joe for who he's fought, but look at the way he's fought him, the way he's adapted to him. And Billy Joe Saunders is one of them guys, the tougher the opponent, the better he perform. You'll see.
Right, so I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, the guy that Canelo fought from Turkey, Coach, he fought like a turkey. And I'm not being disrespectful, but that's what I said that night. I'm like, man, because I paid for that fight. I bought the fight and I commentated the fight. You know what I mean? I went live. Of course, I didn't stream it. I couldn't show it. That's against the law. But I was just talking round by round analysis. Man, oh my God, Coach, I was so upset, to be honest with you. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can't compare. Canelo's a great fighter, but I can't say he's great based on his last 3 fights. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you're fighting Kovalev, which is past his prime, and Kovalev in his prime, Canelo never would have beat him. Let's be honest. Kovalev had just came off a fight 3 months prior, a tough fight. I forgot it was a guy he fought from the UK. I forgot his name, but he knocked him out in the
Anthony Yard.
Anthony Yard. You seen how tough that fight was? Was Anthony Yard got tired. That's the only reason he lost that fight, because he got knocked out by a jab and he couldn't get up. He was just laying there. He didn't want to get up. And then he fought Canelo 3 months after. And why did Kovalev take that fight? I don't know. It had to be the money, because I remember he said that that's not enough time. That's not enough time for me to recover. But I don't think he should have took the fight, but that's neither here nor there. Then he fought what's the brother from the UK again? Callum Smith, the one that just balled up in the high guard all night. An embarrassment. And then he fought the taxi cab driver. So you can look good against bums, is what I'm trying to say. I want to see how good you look. Do those same things you did to the Kovalev and the Caleb Smiths and the guy from Turkey. I don't even know his damn name. Do that to someone who has heart, who is not going to freeze up, who is not going to run, but who's not going to freeze up and just let you pound on them, who is going to fight you. You got to have heart. These fighters who's Canelo's been fighting the last 3 fights doesn't have heart. Now, that's not Canelo's fault. If they're not coming in the ring to have heart and fight, that's not Canelo's fault. But that's my whole argument. I need Billy Joe Saunders to come in that ring and say, you know what? This is my time now. Whether he wins or loses, go out and show the world what you're all about.
Agree.
That's what I want, Coach. You see what I'm saying? So let's see. Let's get to another question. Caleb Smith. Let me see, Mr. Angus. Mr. Angus is saying that he has to. He will not win by a decision. Yeah, I don't think. I don't want to put this in the atmosphere, Coach, but I heard Billy Joe Saunders say this probably last week. He said that he already knows. He was doing an interview, I think, with Sporting Icons. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. But he was saying he already knows that he's going to be down 2 or 3 rounds before he steps into the ring. He's expecting
like the Trout fight.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I hate about the sport of boxing.
Okay.
What are we going to do as it relates to? Go ahead.
It's a business. It's always going to be there. This is what I'm just trying to explain to people. Billy Joe Saunders is just going to beat Canelo up. It's going to beat him up. And whatever the outcome is, so be it. But the world will witness what Billy Joe Saunders will do to Canelo.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think that there need to be, what is the word I'm looking for? Regulations in boxing? Like, what is the requirement? I don't know this, but I want everyone in the chat to hear this. What is the requirement for someone to be a judge? To be a judge in boxing?
Today's day and age, anyone that takes the exams. But I feel that judges need to be ex-boxers or people that understand the game. Now, the judges are under a lot of scrutiny. They're under the microscopes on them. So right now, with this magnitude of a fight, I think the judges won't be allowed to be corrupt.
Right.
Because of the pressure that's going on. I think.
Hey, hold on. I want to read this to you. He want me to ask you Brandon Lynn's want to ask about Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. We're not gonna ask about that, Brandon.
Let me give an answer to that. Listen, Jake Paul's a YouTuber. Tommy Fury is a fighter. He's a boxer, a proven amateur national champion multiple times who can actually bang. Yes, he's building momentum. It's like putting, I don't know.
Oh, let's see this guy. He said Ben Davison is a glorified gym teacher / motivator.
Okay, how can a person that brought Tyson Fury from the brink of destruction to beating up Wilder, how can a guy that was with Billy Joe Saunders' corner trained him to become the super middleweight world champion. That is with a guy that's with Josh Taylor. That's the WBA, IBF, ring belt. You know, how can you even call him a glorified gym teacher motivator? What's your name? You call yourself Batman. Wake up, son. Wake up. Yeah, wake up, Batman.
That's I knew you was going to get a kick out of that question. That was
listen, look at what he's done with Lee Wood. He's just won the British title. Then he's got Lee McGregor fighting for the European title. Then he's got Josh Taylor fighting for the undisputed title, and you've got so many more coming through. So for those people that want to say anything negative about Ben Davison, it's just pure hate. Listen, appreciate someone like Ben Davison because he's beautiful for the game. He's a beautiful person, a great friend of mine, and you know what? He will be producing champions like a conveyor belt, like that. He's got a fantastic team with David Nash, Lee Wiley, Barry Smith. MTK Performance Center is a great factory for future champions. It's a phenomenal place, and Ben Davison deserves all the respect possible.
All right, well, Coach, I know we've been on this live for over an hour, and I really do thank you for taking your time. And I'm gonna address a couple of more questions, and I'm gonna wrap it up for you. So this, let's see, Emmett Oliver wants to know: is Tyson versus AJ really next 100%? He has serious doubts, probably because it hasn't been announced yet. That's why he's having doubts.
Listen, everybody had serious doubts about Wilder and Fury, but it happened. Listen, until it's officially announced, anything's possible. Nothing's guaranteed in boxing. I understand why people are concerned. We know Tyson Fury wants it. We don't know with Anthony Joshua's body language. Does he really want it? But listen, both Eddie Hearns has said he's ready. We're ready to sign. We're ready for Tyson Fury to see him sign. Both have said they've signed. So then they're saying they're waiting for location or whatever. Listen, it will happen. It has to happen because MTK will make it happen. They've made this fight happen. They've made this fight happen.
Coach, we got two more questions. So Sheldon Moore makes a valid point. He says fight judges should be ex-fighters. Judges, what do you think about that? Judges being, has to be like ex-boxers who may have retired.
No. It doesn't have to be. What they need to be is made accountable, justify their reasons. And like they have the whole replay system, make notes on the round, justify the rounds, because the sanctioning bodies, who I call promotional belts, they need to be more accountable to say, right, we agree with this, and this wasn't the right decision. So we're going to overrule that decision and say a no contest or a rematch, or we felt this. Because there's got to be an independent, like you say, regulator that's going to say, I'll overrule that. But then again, if people can reach the pockets of the judges, they can reach the pockets of the regulators. So there's always going to be an element of corruption no matter what we say.
Right. That's why they say politics is in boxing and politics is corruption. So you're right about that, Coach. So Kent Smith said, I respect Coach and all that he does, but his perception is warped. Billy Joe can't stop Canelo.
Okay, Kent S. Let me break it down like this. If I say to you, go into your bedroom drawer, there's £1 million in there, $1 million in there, and you go into that drawer, there's $1 million. You can say, wow. Then I say to you, go into your cupboard, there's another $1 million, and you go into the cupboard, there's $1 million. So for me to then say to you, go into your cupboard, there's another $1 million, are you going to believe me or are you going to doubt me?
Right.
You're going to believe me, aren't you?
Right.
Yeah? Okay. I told everybody about Wilder and Fury who's going to win. I told everybody about Klitschko and Fury. I told everybody about Lopez and Lomachenko. And I'm telling everybody about Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo. Don't doubt me. Just trust in what I say. You will see this. May the 8th, Canelo gets stopped.
All right, Coach. Hey, Coach Asgy, man, I really appreciate you taking the time out. Let us know before we go how people can follow you. Like, what's your Twitter handle? Are you on YouTube or you have a YouTube channel or whatever?
I'm not on YouTube. I'm on Instagram at Asgar. I'm on Twitter at Asgar, Facebook at Asgar. So if you want to give us a follow, give us a follow. I'm always up for some banter. I'm always up for some great debates. Listen, I don't take nothing personal. If people want to give banter, give hate, it's all love because everybody's entitled to an opinion, as long as you can back it up with facts. I understand because there's people that are very nasty and they'll be very offensive, and that I should ignore. But all I'm saying to you is, Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor, man.
Tyson Fury. And the main man, Billy Joe Saunders. And I've got to give a plug on my guy. Remember this name, Mikey Lee Broughton.
Coach, I think I follow him. Let me write his name. How to spell his name?
Mikey, M-Y.
M-Y.
K-E-Y.
K-E-Y.
Hyphen Lee.
Okay,
and Broughton. He just turned over to pro. I've signed him and I'm managing him and I'm training him. So he's one to definitely watch. And I've got to give a shout out to all the guys out there. Louis, Louis Edmondson, he's one of Billy Joe Saunders' boxers. Super middleweight, he's one to watch. I've got to give a shout out to Shannon Courtney, who's fighting Rachel Ball for the world title. She's definitely one to watch. My brother H, who's in the corner with her. Also got to give a shout out to Dante Dixon, who's also managed by Billy Joe Saunders. One to watch out for. Big Mark Ahanjo, the beast I call him. One to watch out for. Shabazz Masood, trained by Ben Davidson's fight. Now, you've got to watch out for this Shabazz Masood, the Maverick, they call him. Trained by Ben Davidson. Watch out for him. Watch out for him.
Coach, I would love to, because these are up-and-coming fighters that you're working with, right? You and Ben Davidson?
No, with Shabazz, I used to work with him, but now he's with Ben Davidson. Still doesn't stop the fact that I give this man maximum respect. The idea was to take him to Ben in the first place, and now he's ended up with Ben. Happy days, because Ben Davis will take you to that level a bit higher, because Ben Davis is a very, very, very smart man. Definitely watch out for him. But this kid, Michael Lee Broughton, please watch out for this.
Can you please, because I'm going to reach out to you again. I know how to get in contact with you. I would love to interview this fighter. I would love to interview some of the guys that you and Ben Davidson are working with, some of these fighters, because I want people in the States to know who these guys are. You said I want to be the first one to say, hey, look, this is the guy that I was telling you about, yada, 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 and now you see who it is. You see what I'm saying? So I would definitely love to do that.
Listen, got to give a big shout out to everybody for watching. Thank you for all the questions. I hope I answered them. I'm looking forward to coming to America. Hopefully, if I can get my work visa sorted, if someone can apply for it and sort it out for me, I will be in America. And if I can't, I'll be in the UK. So if you guys ever come to the UK, more than welcome. My guest, we'll have a great time. And
I'm looking to come to the UK. I'm looking to come to the UK this year once this COVID stuff ends. Hopefully by the summer. I'm looking to come to the UK this year. I do have a passport. The passport lasts for 10 years, so I got to get my visa and stuff. And I'm looking to come over there, man, because I have quite a few friends over there, and I really want to go to the gyms, the boxing gyms. I want to see these guys. You see what I'm saying? I want to see these guys working. All right, Coach, man. Much love, Coach. Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time out to do this live stream with us.
No worries at all. Thank you very much.
All right, Coach. Much respect, much love, and we talk to you later.
Big shot, Buster.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right, everybody. That was Coach Asgy. You know what I mean? He's gone now. I know this live is an hour and 23 minutes long. I apologize. It was so long. You know what I mean? I really do. I know you guys have a lot. You took your time out to really listen to the interview, but it was very important. I really wanted to ask him some of these questions, about the Tyson Fury, the glove game and stuff like that, and yada, 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 yada. And I didn't want to overtalk him because I can talk. We know I can talk, but when you're interviewing people, you have to give them the opportunity to speak. You see what I'm saying? And I wanted to share some of your your questions that you have. So before I wrap it up, I want to give everybody a shout out. So, Halim Boston, what's good, brother? Shout out to you. I know I gave you one earlier, but I love you, fam. Shelton Moore, I got much love for you, bro. I know that. Listen. I love your questions because you're very to the point. Peter Von Arts, much love, brother. Brandon Lenz, much love. Valiant Prize Fights, what's good, brother? Much love to you. Most avoided boxer of all time. Yes, sir. What's good, brother? What's good with you? Let's see. Batman 5150. I know you asked Coach a tough question, but I appreciate that. We gotta have it on both sides. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being pro or fighter. If you like Terence Crawford, there's nothing wrong with saying I love Terence Crawford over Errol Spence. If you love Errol Spence, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because it's all subjection. You see what I'm saying? And we base who we like based on, the relationship we may have with the fighter. It may be just what we think personally. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not wrong with that. So because we're not a monolithic group of people. We don't think alike. We all think differently. Terence Crawford is my favorite fighter myself. You know what I mean? But I've heard a lot of arguments saying that if Errol Spence fight him, Errol Spence a dog walker. I don't agree with that, but that's what makes it so interesting. That's why we need to see these fights. So MTK Global is making big fights. I can't deny that. The Top Rank and PBC, they do work together on some fighters. So me personally, man, me being a fight fan, I just want to see the fights happen. I'm tired of the politics. I just want to see the fights happen. So let me give everybody else a shout out. Let's see. The Boxing Jedi, what's good, brother? Halim Boston, what's good? Emmett Oliver, what's good, fam? Brandon Lenz, what's good? Let's see. Who else we got? Jethro66, what's good, fam? Neil Simpson, what's good? Dirk VD, was it West End? What's good? Let's see. Let's see what we got. Kofi Adu, what's good, brother? Michael Buffer, what's good? What's good, fam? Brendan Jackson, what's good, fam? I think I said Peter Von Arps, what's good, fam? Mr. Agnes 245, what's happening, bro? Emmett Oliver, Gambit, what's good? King of Kings, what's happening, brother? Let's see what we got. What else? Who else we got? Edie Usman, what's happening, brother? And let's see, Brandon. Oh, I see Brandon Lenz already. Batman 5150, Emmett Oliver, Ken S. Yeah, that's a good question, bro. Good question. I didn't agree with it, but I really respect your point of view. I really do respect that, brother. Keep asking those questions. Keep asking hard questions. Brandon Jackson, keep asking hard questions. I'm going to get more guests on here. I'm going to get some fighters on here. I'm going to see can I get Terence Crawford on here. I'm going to see can I get I'm in the background speaking to Terence Crawford's team right now, trying to set that up. So I will keep you guys updated. I'm going to get some more trainers on here, some championship trainers. Also, Michael Buffer. Let's see. Mr. Jones, salute, brother. Sorato, salute. I don't know if you're Spanish, but yo soy dominicano también, yo hablo español también. Es un placer conocerlo de la computadora. Let's see. Valiant Prize Fighter. Let's see. I think that's it. I think I got everybody. So other than that, guys, let's see. Bacon and Eggs, what's going on? John Doe, what's good, brother? Toby Barlett, what's good? Benjamin Morris, what's happening? Gambit, what's happening? New Money DMG, what's good, fam? Salute. Adrian, salute. Bacon and Eggs, thank you so much, brother, for wishing me a great interview. Batman 150, man. I love your question, man. Listen, I promise you guys, we're going to do lives at least 4 days a week. I like doing lives better than the pre-recorded stuff. I like doing lives better than that. And the Boxing Jedi, thank you so much, brother. Other than that, man, we finna sign out, man. I'm going to upload this video. I'm going to chop it up. I'm going to timestamp it so people won't be forced to watch the whole entire interview. I'm going to timestamp it so you can skip to the parts that you want to just jump ahead and go to, okay? Other than that, guys, man, I much love to y'all, man. We're gonna go live. I'll post it. I'll send a post. We're probably gonna go live again on Wednesday because tomorrow I have to take my son to karate, so I won't be able to do it then. But tomorrow we're gonna go live again Wednesday. But I will be dropping a video tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the UK, that's going to be 5 o'clock your time. If you're on the West Coast, that's going to be 9 o'clock a.m. your time. And if you're in Texas or in the Midwest, it's an hour time difference. So it's going to be 11 o'clock your time. So other than that, guys, that's it. It's our boy George Malachi Williams representing for New Media Today USA, boxing, and peace.